Good evening, everyone. This is Dana from NexGen. And this week in Me Inc., we are going to do a wealth case study on Mark and Carla. Now, if you notice, it's case study 4. In case study 1, we did a divorced mother of 3. In case study 2, we did a single millennial. In case 3, we did a couple that were boomers. So this week we're going to do married millennials with a child. We are profiling Mark and Carla. They are 34 years old. That would make them millennials. And they have a new son, Joshua, which would make him Generation Z. They've been married for 8 years, as you can see. They're college graduates, and their college was paid for by their employers. They are co-workers, so they actually met at work. This is a snapshot of their current household finances. Now, when we talk about household finances, we're talking about everything that Mark and Carla have. As far as consumer debt, it's $75,000, and then I'm going to explain the breakout of what that consumer debt represents. They have a savings plan and they've put together a budget. So if you've not put together a budget or you don't know how to put together a budget, we did talk about it in the previous week. They are homeowners now, and they've been homeowners for a couple of years. Their annual household income is $290,000. Now, although their combined income is $290,000, their budget is only based on one of their income, and that's significantly important. So during their 8 years of marriage, they have not, although their household income was $290,000, they've only lived on a portion of that income. Now we're going to take a look at their finances and what makes up their finances and see if it lines up with their goals. And of course, whenever we talk about goals, we're going to look at the wellness dimensions. Here we have the wealth dimensions that we've discussed consistently through this channel. And so whenever we do the wealth case studies, we always look at the entire person, not just the finances. Because as we said before, generational wealth is more than financial. Okay. Let's take a look at their personal habits. They attend church as a family regularly. Now, their family is down south and they're in the Metro DC area, but they also have a church family. So, as a family, they attend church. Now, they don't physically go to church, they're actually doing it remotely, but they do have a church family. They try to do a staycation at least quarterly, spending some time as a family, and that's very important to them. They have a social life with their friends in the area to help with their emotional wellness that we've discussed before. And to make sure that they're healthy, they do work out. They used to go to the gym, but now they work out at home. They have a few pieces of equipment, but their trainer provided them with some exercises that they can do without equipment. And they are always open to improvement, which is very important when we do the wealth case studies. As a family, they sat down and wrote down their goals. For Mark, the goal is to retire before 60. And the reason it's 60 is so that Mark can take advantage of his employer's health insurance package for the family and also take advantage of the retirement plan. Now, they both know that with a job as a W-2, it is based on his ability to perform. So they are keeping their options open. Their goal for Carla is for her to be a stay-at-home mom now that they have Joshua. Now, this is what's really important. They decided this as a family unit, and they saw that it's cost effective for her to work inside the home while Mark works outside the home. Their goal is to be healthy, have passive income so that their expenses are not totally reliant on Mark's ability to perform. And of course, pass on generational wealth to Joshua and his other siblings, should there be any. Again, this is decided as a family unit. All right, so these are their financials as it is right now and what their goal is. Right now, we have the W-2 from both Carla and Mark, but as I said before, their goal is for Carla to come home now because they have Joshua. And again, because they lived off of and conducted their financial affairs with one income, it was very easy for her to come home. So their goal is to go to multiple 1099s or passive income. And they're actually sitting down writing out ways that they can accomplish that. So, as I said before, he's working now, but their goal is to switch from W-2 to 1099. If you have any questions about that, there will be some information in the description below that will highlight any areas that I talked about in this video. Currently, they have 6 months of emergency fund, and their emergency fund consists of 6 months of expenses, and they have to adjust it now that Joshua's here. Their goal is to have 1 year of an emergency fund expenses to now include Joshua. Even though they conducted themselves off of one income, their spending was not very controlled. So they had to do the budget, as we talked about in the previous week, so that they can find out areas that they can make adjustments. So their goal is to have what we call controlled spending. Their mortgage, they have a small amount of equity in their home, but the mortgage right now is a little under $375,000. Their goal is to pay off the house in less than 7 years, which can be done. And we talked about that in our previous videos. And again, I'll have that in the description below. They are not opposed to selling the house and moving down south. His job will allow for that. So they're, again, keeping their options open. As far as consumer debt, it is at $40,000, and their goal is to erase that consumer debt. And if they need any funds for any reason, they would borrow it from themselves, as opposed to borrowing the money from a lending institution and incurring large interest that they are not prepared or not financially sound to do. Again, additional information will be in the description below. They do have a new vehicle because their other one had too many challenges. So they have a new vehicle. They did have it for 0.99% interest rate, and their goal is to have no car payments or have the car paid off before, I guess it's within 36 months. That's what I believe I saw. So that's their goal. They don't have any money set aside for Joshua's post-high school education. A lot of it was focused on getting rid of the debt. So their goal now is to put aside funds for their children's post-high school education, basically college if they so choose, or vocational school if it's even required. And of course, to form a family bank. Now, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about when we talk about a family bank, I will put that up top and also in the description below to show how they're going to go about formulating their family bank. Their plan of action to accomplish these tasks or these goals is they wanted to make sure that they had adequate insurance. They have $750,000 on both Carla and Mark. Now, a lot of people were asking questions about life insurance and why it's on both. They actually took out 30 years of term life insurance before they had Joshua and before Carla decided that she wanted to come home. So because of their lifestyle of non-smoking, and they were relatively healthy, and they did it when they were young, and it was for 30 years, they had a very low premium that they felt their budget could accommodate. They made sure that they had health insurance through Mark's employer. Of course, auto insurance and home insurance for their home. So they reviewed their insurance to make sure that it was adequate. They also did estate planning. Each one of them has a will, and they have each other as the executor of the will. And in the will, they have each other as the custodian or the person to take care of Joshua. Now, again, they are married, and you would think that normally that's something they would not have to write down or memorialize. So my goal, well, NexGen's goal is to talk to an estate planning attorney to go over why it's important for each parent to have a will, a power of attorney, and a medical directive. Whether Carla is working or not, it's important to have these things in place. Their plan of action, of course, is to be debt-free, to include their house and have passive income, so that the income that they receive is not dependent upon Mark and or Carla's ability to perform. And of course, they would do this by taking care of themselves and always looking for ways to improve. They felt it was important to keep the lines of communication open. So when Carla expressed that she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, that was something that Mark and she agreed to beforehand. So they were doing things in preparation so that it would not be a financial struggle. And of course, they did this because they also want to build generational wealth. I hope this information was helpful to you. We will have subsequent videos talking about the things that Mark and Carla are doing. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.
Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can never miss another video.